very clear. Okay.
So you will move the slides, Nomsa?
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
And now, who is recording? Is it me? Can you
yes,
see?
Yes, it's you.
Okay, we got it right this time. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, colleagues, let me take the opportunity to welcome everybody. Welcome our students, welcome our markers, welcome our e-tutors. This is the final meeting that we are holding together in preparation for the exam, which happens on Monday, beginning at 8 to Wednesday, ending at 8 in the morning on both days. The protocols for today we are just looking at technical issues. We are not teaching, and I think that must be very clear to everybody. But of course, if you have any teaching matter that you want to ask, you can ask at the end. But today we are just looking at the technical issues. We are going to start with Dr. Mkize will just take us through the first technical issue. Dr. Mkize?
Thank you, Nomsa, and good evening.
It's evening.
I nearly said morning. Good evening, students, to this very last session we have for 2021. Namsa, could you make the slides a little bit bigger? You know, yeah, I think this should be fine. We're going to start with talking about, thank you, I think this is, yeah. We're going to start by talking about the examination in relation to the Bloom's taxonomy. This is important in the sense that our teaching, including our assessment, it's based on this taxonomy, and it is one of the requirements by the university. So when we teach and when we assess, we don't do things randomly, but there is a framework that guides us. So I'm just going to talk briefly about it. We have said here examination questions will have different levels of cognitive demands and processes, and these will vary. The cognitive demands will vary in terms of the lower order thinking question, middle order thinking questions, and higher order thinking questions. So when you prepare and when you answer the questions, always remember, bear this in mind. However, these levels are not necessarily mutually exclusive. In fact, they build on one another and they are very much related, interrelated. It's just to guide us. If we say a question is at a particular level, it does not necessarily mean that the other levels are excluded. They may be implied because all these levels work together to give us a picture of what you know, and it also allows you to gauge your own assessment. In other words, you can tell the level at which you're answering the question or questions. Next slide, please. So you have it there. These are the key, I would say, key instructional verbs or key concepts, so to speak. You have, remember that there will be questions that will require you just to remember, recall information, understand what you studied, and apply. Most of the questions will be at that level, but you cannot apply anything unless you have studied it and unless you have understood it. So that is important. And then from the application, then you may be expected to analyze, especially when you are looking at the different, my colleagues will talk about that, the different, especially I think section B, where you will do some analysis of words, sentences, and all of that. So you are applying this, these levels, these cognitive demands. The highest one is creation. When we say you are creating, we mean that you're coming up with something that is not necessarily, I would say, it might be in the study guide, but you're putting it in an innovative way. And this will apply, I think, to section C. My colleagues will talk about that. The next slide, please. These are some of the instructional verbs that will help you to understand the level at which you should answer the questions. So just go through this. I'm not going to go, I'm not going to read them. You just have to read them yourself as you prepare for the examination. The next slide, please. And then these are the guidelines on how to answer. Please answer all the questions. Read all the instructions carefully and then adhere to them. That's important. Read the instructions. And of course, read the question several times, because sometimes you may think you have understood what is required, but when you go back and read again, you find that no, you didn't understand it earlier on. Now you understand it. So I would advise you to also underline, highlight, but have a way of making key instructional words stand out. Make sure that they stand out in whatever form you want to do it. You could underline, you could, highlight in yellow, green, red, however you want to do it. That is entirely on you. But the significance of doing this is that you are constantly reminding yourself of what you are supposed to do and how you are supposed to answer the question. Of course, allocated marks will give you a guide. We don't expect you to write a paragraph of 6-7 lines for 2 marks. Please use marks as a guideline. They will help you to figure out how much you should say, or the length. You should be able to, guess the length of your answer using the marks allocated per question. And when we say begin by drafting your answers, the good thing is that when you do this, you are able to, when you write your final draft, you are able to go back. And the more you write about something, the more it makes sense. So if you can, please do have a draft, but make sure that you don't submit a draft to us. Please, that is important. We don't want to see your draft. We want to see the final copy, or the final the final draft, not all the subsequent drafts. We want to see the final answer, so to speak. Make sure that you don't submit the wrong draft. And of course, you have time. You have 48 hours for this exam. Give yourself some time to go through the script once or twice or 3 or even 3 times, just to make sure that you've answered everything correctly, and more importantly, you have taken care of the language. Next slide, please.
Okay, the next slide will be taken by the next presenter, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Sylvia, who is the next presenter?
It's you, Nomsa.
It's me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to thanks Dr. Mkhize for your presentation. I think a number of the things that you have highlighted, because today, as I said, it's a technical presentation. We're not going to teach, so we're just looking at technical issues. So what Dr. Mkhize has presented is about the technical issues of how you go through your exam and what things you need to highlight. And I think it's important for you to look at those verbs, as she said, because these are the verbs that will help you know what it is that you have to do in each of the questions. And I think we did cover this a lot, especially when Mr. Mkwena was presenting about underlining keywords. This is just going back to that. So what I'm going to do now is to present the structure of the exam as it is, as the one exam that you'll be writing on Monday. Now, the main structure of our exam is the same generally. The structure is such that the exam is 100 marks. It's got 3 sections, and there are questions within those sections. Of course, we haven't come to a level where we are very, strict about what question, how many questions are there going to be in each section, but basically we cover the same topics under each section. So as you can see there, we've tried to lay it out like that. You've got your section A, your section B, and your section C. As Dr. Mkiza has said, in section A, you are looking at, for this particular exam, this is what we want to encourage you to focus on. The language system for section A and the language forms and variations. So this is what this exam is all about. There are a number of things that we can test under this section, but for this particular exam, we are looking at the language system and the language forms and variation. We spoke about the language system, I think, in our first presentations, where we went through the different levels of language, and we're not going to be talking about that. So section A is 30 marks, question 1 is 15 marks, and question 2, sorry, there's a spelling error there. Question 2 is 15 marks, which makes up the 30. As Dr. Mkiza has said, you must look at each question. There are different questions within this fixed 15 marks. You must look at the weight of the question and make an assumption of how much you can write. There's no point in writing half a page for 1 mark. I mean, anybody would know that. And then section B is 50 marks. So this is the bigger section, which covers phonetics and phonology, grammar and syntax, semantics and pragmatics. These are just the linguistic terminology that basically refer to. Phonetics is all about the way that the language sounds, and phonology is the way that the language is patterned, that the sounds of the language are patterned. Now, a major part of this exam that you'll be writing for this question, for this section, is testing pronunciation. So you've got to be very comfortable about that. We will be focusing on pronunciation. That would be question 3. And question 4 is grammar and syntax, and the major focus there is on syntax.
Answer.
I think we lost her, Sylvia. Sylvia, are you there?
While we wait, could Sydney take over? But the thing is, Nomsa is the one who's in control of the slides. Unless Sydney has his part, he could share it. I'll try to call her on a cell phone.
No, I don't think. Oh, I think Nomsa emailed us the presentation. Let's just quickly check if we'll be able to. Oh gosh.
I have the presentation on my side.
Pardon, Sydney?
I do have the slides on my side. I can share my part.
Are you referring to the latest? Nomsa
Yes.
Yeah, I think if it's the latest, we can.
Or did she send another one except that one, the one that I
have? Hello?
Oh, she's back.
I'm back.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm back now. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Nomsa, we can
yes.
hear you.
Yeah, you.
Okay.
Now we can hear you, Nom.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Where did you lose me?
Yeah, this is the slide.
Still
Yeah, you
on
were,
section B,
Okay.
question 4.
I was discussing question 4, right?
yeah, you're right. Yes.
Okay, so sorry about it. I have no idea what happened, but I was talking to myself. So question 4 is about grammar and syntax, and the focus is on syntax. And then question 5 is grammar, syntax, and pragmatics, and the focus is on all three of them. Are you still with me?
Yes.
Okay. And then section C, we've got only one question, which is question 6, and it's discourse analysis. And we just like to encourage you to focus. We are testing both the visual and the text-based texts. As we did, I was asking Dumi, that's when I realized I was now talking to myself. I was asking you, it is assignment 3 where we had a visual, isn't it? Dumi?
Yes, it's assignment 3.
Yeah, it was assignment 3. So in this exam,
Assignment 3. I don't
yes,
know.
you will be expected to engage with a visual and a text-based. So that's where I was, and I was just asking if do we want to take questions or we move to the next slide?
I suggest that we move to the next slide and then we can take questions after.
At the end, okay. So the next slide is on where to find the examination. I don't know who is presenting that. Is it still me?
It's Sydney.
It's Sid.
Sydney, okay.
Good evening, everybody, colleagues and students. Let me say this part is more focused on how to deal with the technicalities of accessing your question paper. I hope and believe that students know already that the examination is done online. So the question paper is accessed online. There's no way you're going to receive a question paper through paper. Okay, so where do we find our exam paper? The examination question paper will be posted on CHS My Exam at the start of the session on the day of the examination. A new examination question paper download tool will be available on the MyUnisa front page. You are encouraged to submit long before the due date to avoid system congestion and panic. Log in with your student number and MyUnisa password. Claim your MyUnisa password before the start of the examination if you have not done so already. A document on how to access the examination question paper on My Exams, Straight Guide, Take Home, Portfolio Exam, File Upload on MyUnisa is available on MyUnisa under the Assignments and Examination tab. Okay. There are some steps that you need to follow in order to access the question paper. On the day of the examination, you are highly advised that you do the following. First, you go to MyUnisa on the link that is provided there, which I believe most of you are familiar with, or the other link that is provided on the other line of chs.myexams.unisa.ac.za/portal, and select the module code to log in. It is a new page that will display all the timetable modules, your timetable modules for that matter. Click on ENG1502 as this is the exam that you'll be writing. And it will take you to the following link, which is chs.myexams.unisa.ac.za to log in. Log in with your user ID and password to access the question paper. Step 2, compile answers offline. Once you have downloaded your question paper, you are supposed to answer the questions offline. You're advised to answer the questions on offline. One student says that she cannot see the slides. Okay. Once you have downloaded your question paper, you can go offline to read the questions and either type your answers on a laptop or desktop, or write your answers on sheets of paper and later convert your answers to PDF for uploading onto MyUnisa. Should you submit a handwritten, sorry, someone wants to be admitted. Should you submit a handwritten exam paper, please make sure that your handwriting is legible and clear. Note this, you do not need to be online for the full duration of this examination. So the only time you must make sure that you're online is when you download your question paper or when you're supposed to upload your question paper. In the process of writing your exam, you don't need to log into MyUnisa or be online in any way. That can be done when you're offline.
I think this should be my turn.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moluleke, for talking about how to access the file, the question paper itself. After you have accessed your question paper and having responded to the questions offline, you have your document, you have answered the question paper, you have all the answers that you want to submit. And then, as Mr. Moluleke has said, you do not have to be online throughout the duration of the examination. Remember, you are going to be given about 48 hours or so to do your writing and submit. So you are going to be online when you upload the question, when you download the question paper. And then you are going to be online again when you upload. That is when you submit. So now we are talking about the process of uploading. How do you submit? These are the steps to follow when you submit your examination script, your file. The first step is the most important, because that is the one that is going to lead you to all the steps until you finish up with your submission. So this is basically something that looks like when you are using an app, when you are using an ATM machine, it normally speaks to you. After getting into the first step, then you start looking at what the app is saying to you, what the machine is saying to you. The same goes with submitting your file. You first access MyUnisa. You first get into my exams at http:// myexamsunisa.ac.za portal. And then you are going to use your student number and MyUnisa password. The second step, you are supposed to go to your specific examination site. The site taps on the horizontal navigation bar. So that is the bar that goes across your screen. And then if you happen to come across some difficulties in finding this, somewhere on the right hand side of your screen at the top, there will be a site link that when you click on it, it's going to give you the same thing that you are expected to get. So it's either you go to the horizontal navigation bar, and then if you can't find it on your top right-hand side at the corner, there is a site link that will help you go through. And then step number 3, once the site has loaded after you have clicked on it, then you are going to have some options where you will have to select assessment, e-assessment tool from the left navigation menu. After you have selected the e-assessment tool, the list of all available assessments in the site will be displayed. And then you look at the one that is relevant to you. You select the assessment for which you want to upload the examination answer file by clicking on the title of the assessment in the list. Once you have done that, you will now see a new page opening up. The next slide, please. Right, the next step now will be to submit your examination file. And then depending on the assessment criteria, you may be allowed to attach a file or perhaps multiple files. It will give you that option. Under attachments, click to choose file button to browse for a file on your device. Remember, after you have completed writing your examination, you will have your file in your laptop or any device that you will be using to write your examination. So make sure that you always put the file where you will remember. You do not need, you cannot afford to make a mistake at this point. The file that you have to submit should be placed where you are 100% sure that you are going to go exactly there to submit the correct file. Once you have attached your answer file, the name, oh, Nomsa, can we go back to the previous slide? Okay. The next one after this one. Thank you. Oh, the slides are running faster. Nomsa, I think you have gone, you have, let me see. Yeah, we should be on this one.
Okay.
Once you have, yeah. Once you have attached your answer file, the name of the file as well as the file size and the upload timestamp will be displayed under attachments. You may click remove to remove the attachment if you selected the wrong file. So it gives you an opportunity to replace the wrong file with the correct one. So you can remove and then replace it with the correct one. We can go to the next slide. Right, we have now another icon that will say to you the honor pledge. You have to select that one. Students must check the honor pledge before submission. If it appears on the screen, please select that. It is very important. A student will not be able to submit the assessment if he or she did not check the honor pledge. When you are ready and satisfied that you have the correct answer file, click the submit button to complete your assessment submission. So as a tip, if you are not yet ready to submit, you may click preview to preview the submission and save draft to save your submission, which means you are having it safe in the system so that you can submit at a later stage when you are sure that I am satisfied with what I have written, and then I can submit it. You can click cancel to exit the assessment without saving or submitting. The next slide. Someone on the lobby. The confirmation part now. Once you have submitted your assessment, you will receive a confirmation message on the screen. This is very important. You must make it a point that you have this saved somewhere in your important files. You can screenshot it, and in addition, if you have opted to receive email notifications, you will receive an email confirmation of your submission. So this is very important for your records. You must always have this. The same as it happens with your assignments. After submitting, you always keep that record with you. The next slide. I think my colleague has to step in and proceed now with the next part.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mukwena. Colleagues, could you please verify if you're able to hear me, because my screen is not showing?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, very clear.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
Yes.
we are
Okay,
with
thank you. I will be using the slides that you send because I can't see your screen, just say connecting. However, I will be talking about step 4, how to verify your submitted answer script. Student, this is very important because we've discovered that majority of you always send emails back to us to say, no, I've submitted the wrong file, or I'm not sure if my file has been submitted, or things like that. So it is very important that when you're done writing your work, you have saved it in your own computer, you must verify that you submitted the correct answer script. If you want to verify that, you have to follow the following steps. Again, it's on the same side because everything you'll be doing will be done on your e-assessment. You have to click again on the exam title, which will be your 1502 exam for October 2021. Then at the bottom of that page that opens after clicking it on the title, you're going to see your attachment there. And then to make sure that what you have sent has been received or is attached, you will have to click again on that attachment, and then it will open in the browser. So it's very important to do, as Mr. Mukwena has said, make sure that you always take slide for everything that you're doing. Should it happen that you have technical issues, before the exam can assist you, they will want to see what kind of problem it is that you have encountered. So always take a snapshot where you can before you send anything. Thank you. I will now hand over to the next colleague.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Sorry, you have challenges there with your techies. I don't know who's coming in now.
Thank you very much, Nomsa. It's me.
Yes, it's Miss Lidika.
Thank you, Jeff and colleagues. I'll be taking you through on what to do in case you're unable to submit your exam answer sheet. There are various reasons that might prevent you from submitting, such as load shedding, illness, work commitment, or death of a family member. So if you are unable to submit your exam answer sheet because of one of the above mentioned, you have to apply for an aggroted examination. And when applying for aggroted examination, UNISA examination policies will apply. The most important one is that you must have obtained examination admission to qualify for aggroted. So if you haven't submitted any assignment, it means you do not qualify to write this AgroTET examination. In case of load shedding, students who are affected by load shedding, they'll have to apply and submit the required evidence. That is a copy of a load shedding schedule. You'll have to apply and attach that as evidence. And then in case of illness, your application must be accompanied by a medical certificate. That medical certificate must be issued by a medical practitioner registered with South African Medical and Dental Council. And then that medical certificate must specify the nature, the commencement date, and the duration of the illness. And also declare that for health reason, it was impossible for you to sit for the examination on the days concerned. And please ensure that the date on the medical certificate corresponds with the examination date. And to apply for this AgroTET, you have to apply online. So if you fail to upload your examination for whatever reason, please do not send your email or documents to lecturers, because there's absolutely nothing we can do to help. We do not grant permission to write AgroTET. So you have to apply online. The application form is available on MyUnisa. You just log into MyUnisa and navigate for AgroTET. Your application, as I said, must be accompanied by a medical certificate or any other documentary evidence giving full details as to how you were prevented from writing or submitting the examination. And please remember, for AgroTET, there is a fee that you have to pay, 240. And then as I've said, if it's load shedding, schedules are pre-published. Make sure that as from today, if you see anything that has to do with load shedding, make a screenshot of that, because they're gonna need that as evidence that you were unable to submit because of that. Next slide, please. And then please make sure that your MyLife email address is activated and functions properly. So if you send any query using your Gmail, webmail, Yahoo, we are not going to reply to that email. And also you are reminded to update your cell phone number on MyUnisa if you have changed your number since your registration for the 2021 academic year. This is important to do so that officials managing the exam can be able to get hold of you quickly should a need arise during the examination. So we have people we have exam officials. If you send an email to one of the primary lecturers, we can escalate your problem to the exam officials and they are going to call you. So please make sure that your cell phone is updated on MyUnisa. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Sylvia. I suppose the evidence also applies if somebody is applying for an AgroTET and they've proof that they submitted, but their exam did not go through.
Did not. Yes, yes, that's true. Yeah.
That same applies. Yeah. And just to emphasize about the phone number, that if by any chance you have changed your phone number and you have not updated it, when you send an email through your MyLife, include the phone number to say, this is the phone number that I'm using, because that also helps when we talk to the exams people to call you. We don't normally call you as lecturers. We only forward this to the examination people. And also maybe as I'm here now remembering that when you call us, you email us, we are not teaching anymore. So you're not asking us, should I put a comma there or a full stop, or is this a verb or a noun? We are not going to respond to those kind of things. Okay. The next slide, I don't know who's taking that. Is somebody taking that?
It's
I think I'm the next one. Yes, I'm the next one. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, students. This next slide has to do with how to get help during the examination. Now, this is very important. Well, it's a way of reassuring you that you are not left by the wayside, that at all times you'll get help, and you'll get help immediately if ever you come across a challenge. Now, you can get help during the examination by contacting the Student Communication Service Center at the following number, which is 080-000-1870, or email examinquires@unisa.ac.za as soon as you encounter an error or discover a problem with your online exam assessment submission. So what is important here is that the help or assistance is supposed to be immediate. All right.
Can you speak up more,
okay.
Yep, it's soft.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and alternatively, the other email you can use is malto@examinquiries@unisa.ac.za. Now, when you present your problem, you have to include the following. You've got to include your student number, your module course code, name of the college, name of the lecturer, if you know the name of the lecturer, a description of the problem, include the internet browser you are using and its version, if you know it. Information about your internet connection speed, if the issue involves pages loading slowly, if you've got that information. Also, you've got to include a print screen of the problem if there is time. You've got to include the date and approximate time of your submission or occurrence of an issue. We can go to the next slide, Namsa. Now, this slide, I believe, is a reiteration of what I've already said, but I'll go through that as well. Now, you can get help during the examination by contacting the Student Communication Service Center at the following number, 080-000-1870, or email examinquires@unisa.ac.za. As soon as you encounter an error or discover a problem with your online exam assessment submission. Now, I think this was a reiteration, as I've said. So you can contact the primary lecturer Ms. Zindela, which is on zindan.nc@unisa.ac.za, and Lidixen, that's Ms. Lidicha at unisa.ac.za. Yeah, I think that's about the part that I was supposed to handle.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Malulega. I think that's the end of the slideshow. We have just included those 2 emails for the primary lecturers so that we contain the number of emails, but it doesn't mean that the other colleagues who are on the team cannot receive. They will receive, but we just make it easy so that the queries are centralized. So I think that brings us to the end of this of the presentation. We can go back to the lobby, and then we can take questions. We have deliberately muted everybody, but you can raise your hand. As soon as you raise your hand, colleagues, you will help me to check the hands from the students, and then I will unmute them on my side for them to speak. I think we have covered everything. Can you see any hands up from your side? Okay, I think I can see one.
Yes, there's Laurentia Wandile Mbuyani.
Okay, let me allow Laurentia. Laurentia, you can unmute yourself and speak. Laurentia, you have the liberty to unmute yourself now and speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, well, okay, with regard to this number, I have a problem. I was once in an exam room which was timed, and I tried calling this number, and 30 minutes later, this number was still not picked up. So I don't know if like, I'm a student, I don't have enough money to buy like unlimited minutes. So how do I consider such an issue, regardless of the emails and stuff? Because maybe I need someone to actually talk to me. So how do we resolve such an issue? Because this number, I once tried, it wasn't.
Doesn't work.
Okay. It kept ringing and ringing and ringing. Yeah, no, it not really doesn't work. But then there's that automated what.
Okay, look, we are just given these numbers by the university to pass them on to the students, and we can't change them. But there's nothing wrong with calling us on our office numbers. You have them in the
numbers don't work. I had a problem with my assignments for about ever since May. I've been calling all of the numbers that I found on my assignment inquiries, like all of the numbers that I found on my UNISA site.
No. I'm talking about the numbers of our offices in the tutorial letter.
I'm talking about those numbers.
My number comes to my computer all the time. I receive calls from students. So my number does come to my laptop.
So, Ms. Zindela, can I please also come in there?
Yes.
All the numbers should work, because now we're working from home. University has automatically put those numbers. If they are not happening to ring on the cell phone, they will ring here on the app.
The problem is not that they do not ring. They do ring, but then nobody picks them up. Like, okay, there's this numbers like 021, blah blah blah. Your numbers almost change at the end, all of them. I even went straight to your UNISA thinking that maybe the numbers that are here on the tutorial letter are wrong. I went there, the same numbers. I call them, they still not picking up.
I think can we just resolve that, Laurentia? The numbers do work. We receive calls from students every day. So please just maybe tomorrow, try and ring me on my number 012-429-6208, and let's see if it will work, okay? 012-429-6208. Okay, can we, yeah, let's try that. What's name? Can you take the chat as well, colleagues, so that we can respond to the chat as well? Can somebody read the chat? I'll just unmute Vera to ask a question. Vera, you can unmute yourself and talk.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I don't know if this question has been answered on the chat just yet. There seems to be some confusion on the chat where some people are saying that we only have 2 hours to do the exam within the given 48 hours. Is that true?
I think Dr. Mkiza mentioned that. Do you want to take that, Dr. Mkiza?
You have 48 hours, not 2 hours. It means from the time you get the question paper at 8 on Monday, 8 in the morning on Monday, you have the whole of Monday to answer. You have the whole of Tuesday to answer. But, and then you submit before 8. By 8 on Wednesday, you must have completed the exam, and you must have submitted your answer file. There is the 2 hour, I don't know, the 2 hour issue, I have no idea where it comes from. That said, even though you have 48 hours, we still encourage you, if you finish, let's say, on Tuesday afternoon and you are satisfied with your work, to submit, because what happens is if you always, there's how many norms, about 10,000 of you.
Yeah.
If you all decide to submit at 7:45, let's say for argument's sake, what happens is the system slows down, it gets clogged, and then there are issues. So please give yourself some time to submit as well. Once you are done and you're satisfied that your work is what you really want to submit to us, go ahead and submit. Don't wait for Wednesday morning. But at the same time, don't rush yourself. So try to strike a balance between the two.
Perfect.
But the
Thank
2
you so
hour
much.
thing doesn't exist.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. That takes away my anxiety. Thank you.
I see a question on the chat. Can I read it?
Okay, can I just, yeah, you'll read it. Let me just complete the question from Vera. Vera, the exam, remember that when the exams were still not face-to-face, were still venue-based, there were 2 hours.
All right.
So technically, the exam is set to a 2 hour possibility. So in other words, you can finish the exam in 2 hours because we can't change the technicality of exams now, because the standards must all be the same for all students graduating in this module. But because of the problems with internet access, with students, some students live down where there's no internet. They have to travel to internet cafes in order to submit, download. We give you extra hours. There will come a time actually later in the coming years where we are going to reduce this 48 hours, and who knows, in the next 5 years we may be back to 2 hours, whether they're doing it online or offline. So I think I just thought I should explain that background about the 2 hour, the 2 hour idea. But as Dr. Mkiza says, it's not 2 hours, it's 48 hours that you have to do this activity.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Jeff, can you read the chat for us?
Yeah, I think you've answered some of it, but anyway, let me do it. I have it. The question is from Daniela. She says, I have a few questions about the day of the exam. One, on the timetable, we got it says the exam is from the 18th at 8 o'clock until the 20th at 8 o'clock in the morning. Can we get a clarification on this, please? Two, how long will the exam be? Three, out of how much would it be? Four, how many questions will be there?
But I think we've covered everything.
We've covered all those questions.
All
and
those questions.
We'll have to we'll have to listen to the recording. Maybe they came late. So we can move on to Kitso. Let me just unmute you, Kitso. Kitso, you can unmute yourself and talk. Kitso?
Good day. Good evening, everyone. It's Kito speaking from Johannesburg. I am inquiring on the exam paper per se, because in terms of the numbering in the exam paper, in assignment 3, we encountered a problem with the alphabets because we had 2 B's instead of a B and a C. So my question is on whether should we correct it? Do we have the leeway to correct it ourselves, or should we just write it when answering? Should we just use the alphabets as they are in the exam paper or in the exam question paper? Thank you.
Douglas, do you want to answer?
Oh, yes, I can come in. The numbering, it is best to follow it as it appears on your question paper. It is not your duty to edit what is there. So if you have 2 question Bs or 2 question Cs, just write them as they appear on the question paper. But then there are instances where you'll find students having corrected the numbering themselves. So you are not going to be penalized if that happens. We know what the question was about and what the expected answer is. But then what is most important, what you see on the question paper, when you answer the way it appears on the question paper.
Yeah. Thank you, Douglas. I think that's well answered. I mean, Kito, we are sorry about some of those mistakes that happened, but we do, get the exams checked, by several people. Okay. But mistakes are human, and if there is a mistake on our side, we will never put the error on to the disadvantage of the students.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Kito. And then Daniela. Daniele, is it Daniele? Julius, you can talk? Am I out of the meeting? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, this person is not talking. I'm moving to the next person. Okay, Mandisi, Mandisinde, or Mandisinde. Can you unmute and just speak, please? Unmute yourself and speak. All these people don't know what to do. And then Murendeni, Sharon, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Oh, good evening. Good evening, everyone. I just want to ask about assignment 2 remarking. I sent it back to your email, so I haven't received the feedback yet.
We have received the remarking and we've put them on a file. For us to be able to actually work efficiently, we have to be systematic. What we're doing now, we are asking the markers to finish everything that is left, and then we will attend to the remarks.
So is it possible for us to get it before we write exams, or we're just gonna get it after?
Well, whatever is humanly possible will happen. But I cannot guarantee anything, but we are doing, some of them have already been given and they are being marked as we speak. One marker, for instance, says she's not attending today, she's marking those scripts. But we'll do our best to return them.
I see here your email is Zinde NC, but then I use the one saying Zindela NC. Are they all working?
That's the wrong email. I'm not Zindela NC, Zinden C. I don't know where you got that one from. It's Zinden C.
I got it from the tutorial. I got it from the tutorial letter.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay. Deborah? Deborah. Are there any chats, colleagues? Any questions on the chat? Deborah Ann, you can speak. Unmute. Okay. Mandisinde?
Hello?
Yes, can you speak,
Hello?
please? Yes, Deborah.
I'm talking from Western Cape, and I have a question about the last paper, the section on birds. Do you have feedback on that?
I can't hear. Can you hear her?
No, I can't hear a thing.
Okay, my question, I'm Deborah from the Western Cape. My question is about the last paper, the section on birds. Do we have feedback on that section?
Can somebody maybe she...
Hello, this is Deborah from Western Cape.
Yes.
My question is about the last assignment that we had, the section on verbs. Do we have feedback on that?
Is that assignment 3?
Namsa, I think the student is talking about the assignment 3. Assignment 3, you will get the feedback. You will get the feedback. We are working on it. So, yeah.
Thank you. I'm so desperate for that because I was very clueless as to what you expected from me. So it will be very helpful and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We have Ganyezi. Yes, Ganyezi, please speak.
Okay, I just want to know where can I find previous presentations?
We have posted the presentations. The last time when we had the recordings, one student took over the presentation and recorded, and we had no control of that. So it took us almost 4 days to locate the student. We eventually located her, and then she submitted the link for us. It didn't work. So we asked her to convert the link. Eventually she did, and I think I posted them 2 days ago on the website. Just go and check there. They should be there, and you can let me know if they don't work. I don't know what else to try, because I mean, today we've muted everybody just to make sure that the recording is on our side. And so Daniel said it doesn't work. Well, it's such a pity. So that's where we are with that.
Okay, then thank you.
Okay. Tobile, colleagues, if you see any questions that need to be answered, you let me know. I'm just looking at the hands now. Tobile?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
I would like to ask if it happens that I submitted twice, which exam will be marked? Do they both appear on your system or what?
So only the second one will appear. So if you submit twice, the second one will replace the first one.
Okay, thank you.
And remember, you have 3 chances to submit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very important, that you have only 3 chances. If you miss those chances, some students do that and then they come to us to say this thing is not working, the line is not working, yet they've actually exhausted their opportunities to submit. So thank you for that. And then Gabi Sile, Bianca. You can unmute yourself and speak, Gabsile.
I wanted to ask about referencing. If I take something from the study guide, do I have to reference it?
Dumi, do you want to answer that first?
If it's verbatim, like word for word, and I don't know why on earth you would want to do that. Fortunately, the nature of the exam is that you don't do that. If you do that, it means you are not answering the question. You must know that if you get an answer word for word from the study guide, we can tell you right away that you are not answering the question, you are doing something else. Because when we set the questions, we set them such that we test your integrated knowledge of the subject. It's certainly not, there is no room for verbatim in your exam. If you happen to do that, know right away that you are doing something else, you are not answering the exam.
Okay, they are very well answered. You know, this is unlike, because our exam is like short answer questions and responding to pictures or words. We don't really expect referencing to that degree, you know, because it doesn't lend itself to that kind of thing. All right, I think I've gone through all the hands.
Namsa, there is a question on, I think the examination, what do you call it, invigilation app. We don't have that, am I right?
Yeah, our module is not listed under those.
Yeah.
Remember, modules, students, remember that modules were identified randomly by the university. And we, praise God, we were not one of them, because, you know, I think it's a nightmare that that invigilator app for a lot of students. So no, we don't have it. Okay. I suppose, Deborah, your question has been answered. Your hand is an old one, eh? Okay, I think all those people are there, except for Tembelihle. Tembelihle, you'll be the last person to take the stage. Can you unmute yourself, Tembelihle? Yes, you can speak.
Good evening, everyone. I was to ask about the invigilator episode, but now I'm covered.
Okay, all right.
And
number two about the plagiarism declaration form. So need to sign it.
What's your question?
About the plagiarism declaration form. When we're finishing the exam, do we need to sign it or?
Were you here when we started the presentation?
Well, I covered late.
You came late.
Yes,
okay. Can you see the? Can you still see the presentation? No. No, you can't.
Yes, we can.
You can. Okay. Yeah. That slide that talks about the honor pledge. That is your plagiarism a pledge. The one that you see just before you submit, you must tick that, and then you submit. So you don't have to write a separate page from what I know now.
And Namsa, to add to that, the interesting part is, if that has not been ticked, you won't be able to submit your answer file. The system will just kick you out. So you have no option, but you will have to if you are going to submit your answer file. If you don't, then you are as good as someone who never wrote the exam. So it's compulsory, in other words.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Are you happy there, Tembelihle?
Yes, I'm really covered, ma'am. I thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Namsa, one more question. There are students who are asking about old exam question papers. who would like to find out where they can find them. I'm not sure if we have them.
The old examination papers would be on the MyUnisa site, but remember this is, I think this is the second year that we are running this module as a revised module. Is it the second year?
Yes, it's
the second year.
The second year. So the only exams that you will find on MyUnisa that actually speak to this one will be from the ones from last year.
Yeah.
Because the module was revised. So I don't know if Sandra is still here, our administrator. If she is, she would, anyway, we'll ask her if she's not here, just to check.
I am here, Namsa.
Oh, okay, all right. Do you know if the past exams were uploaded?
Last year's one, yeah, it is uploaded, but the other ones, previous years, I don't think they're there. But I will double check.
Okay, Sisi, thank you so much. So if it's the previous year's ones, those are the most relevant. Anything before then is not really going to help anybody. All right. Okay. Life looks good until we meet on Monday morning. And we'd like to wish everyone, we'd like all of you to pass. But I know that Douglas wants to say something. Is he still here?
I'm still around. No?
Yeah, I know you want to say something about that one thing that would like to warn the students about.
Thank
I
you.
know
Thank you so much.
You are good at that. Maybe just say it again.
Okay, thank you. I would like to thank everyone, all the students, colleagues, our e-tutors and the markers who came to this session. This is a very good, way of interacting with each other as the whole ENG1502 family. Right, the examination is a way of, giving you an opportunity to see if you have understood the content of this module as you are proceeding to your next level and so on and so on. So the best way for you to achieve that is to be honest, be fair, and avoid any way or any manner that is not aligned to the fairness and the credibility that we want to put into this whole examination exercise. So we would like to humbly request you as our students that we want to see succeeding in their English studies to please avoid any form of cheating, any form of plagiarism. Be, honest, be fair to yourself so that whatever result that you achieve, you know that this is me. This is not a certain website that I stole something from and then put as my answer. And then there are some websites that we have told you about. There is this one that is called Assignment Expert. That is, leading our students to great trouble. There are answers that are provided in that link, and then students copy those answers and put them as their own. And most of the time they are irrelevant. So you're taking something that is not answering the question, put it as your answer, which is, disadvantaging you. So we humbly request you to go through your 501, the study guide. We have some prescribed books, but the study guide is very helpful. Go through your previous assignments, get into MyUnisa on our 1502 site, and then look at the feedback letters. Any material that is there is very helpful. It will help you, succeed in this coming examination. So we humbly request you to avoid any form of plagiarism. Thank you so much, and all the best in your examination. Thank you, Nomsa.
Okay, thank you so much. I knew you would do a good job of that, and I hope everybody is listening and they will just follow that. And on that note, unless there's something that's so pressing, I would like to again thank everybody and call this a good night for everyone. And good luck. We'll meet you all on Monday. We will be there waiting for your script on Monday. And siyabonga. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Goodbye,
Nomsa.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, colleagues.
Good night.
Good
Bye.
night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Recording.